Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Keep the excitement going at Citadel Outlets. Experience the world's largest soccer ball, a 20-foot spectacle, plus free weekend entertainment and family fun. Now through July 31st. Don't miss it. Plan your visit at citadeloutlets.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams, heavy favorites as a Super Bowl contender this season, open training camp Saturday at Enola Marymount. The addition of defensive end Myles Garrett, a two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and Pro Bowl cornerback Trent McDuffie has given the Rams an elite defense to go with their highly productive offense. The Rams are expected to be better than the team that finished one game away from last year's Super Bowl. On paper, the Rams are legit. The Chargers open training camp on Wednesday in El Segundo. In a salute to their original fan base in San Diego, the Chargers have scheduled training camp practices August 4th and 5th on the University of San Diego campus. USD is where Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh started his head coaching career in 2004. The Dodgers are back in action tonight. They start a 3-game series in New York against the Mets. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk.
Race, social justice, sports, politics, art, music, culture. We do it all on the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show. If you're not tuning in, then you are definitely missing out. It's the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 only on unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 15.
Like a brand new flavor in your head. Yeah.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know.
Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible accountable for this enduring nightmare. So please join us Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. This town hall meeting is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me?
it. It's reparations time. What time is it? It's reparations time. That's right. It's a Freedman Friday. Every Friday we talk about reparations. Reparations now. Reparations, the history, and reparations forever. What will it take to repair the harms, the legacy, the impacts of Jim Crow, of enslavement, the ongoing badges and harms of said enslavement in this country and around the world? That's what we focus on. We do it every Friday during the second hour of the show. We want to make sure you are informed, that you're up on stuff, that we remain encouraged, because so much progress, so much movement continues to happen in this space every single week, even under the Trump administration. And it is really quite amazing. It's something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. Joining us today, we have two very, very distinguished folks working in the reparations space. An activist, mama, and lawyer, founder and president emerita, and an elder griot of Community Healing Network. That happens to be the only organization focused exclusively on mobilizing Black people to heal from and extinguish the root cause of global anti-Blackness, the lie of white superiority and Black inferiority. She's also co-lead with Dr. Joy DeGruy of the Healing Working Group and the Global Circle for Reparations. Dr. Enola Aird, welcome.
It is a great privilege to be with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, it's wonderful, wonderful to have you back. And you're being joined by your friend and colleague, clinical psychologist. She works on the area of right now of community psychology on the faculty of Loyola Marymount University for the past 34 years, professor of psychology, director of their Applied Research Center, and distinguished reparations expert. She was appointed to the Reparations Task Force by Governor Gavin Newsom. Dr. Cheryl Grills, welcome back.
Good morning. It's so good to be here with you.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you on. So let's talk about this this healing. I mean, of course, we spend a lot of our time talking about the check we want, the policies we want, the land back, all of these things. And sometimes I think we don't spend enough talking about the healing piece. And that is exactly what you are focused on. So, Dr. Aird, let's start with you. I'd love to hear from both of you on this. But what is the global movement for healing Black people? How does that intersect with reparations?
In the most beautiful way. I'm delighted to be with my sister, Dr. Cheryl Grills, an amazing woman, and a member of our Healing Working Group, and an indispensable member, I would say. First of all, let me talk about the definition of reparations. Reparations, in the sense of the international standard of full reparations, includes rehabilitation as its final pillar. And we see rehabilitation, right? To rehabilitate means to restore, to help people who've been broken in some way recover from that brokenness. And so we define rehabilitation, that fifth and final component of the full reparations, as healing. And for us, it's healing the damaging psychological, emotional, and physical legacies of centuries of living under the lie of white superiority and Black inferiority, a lie that has driven global systemic anti-Blackness and dehumanized African people for more than 600 years. There's a lot to recover from there. There's a lot to heal from. We see healing as an indispensable element of full reparations, but we also see it as an indispensable element for establishing the collaborations and fostering the sense of harmony and unity that's necessary for building an effective movement. As we know, there have been some fissures and frictions within the movement that we can only begin to deal with if we embark on an essential journey toward healing. So that's where healing and reparations absolutely intersect.
Yeah, Dr. Cheryl Grills, I'm sure that during your work with the California Reparations Task Force, you guys heard so much testimony, looked at a mountain of data, and you have, of course, a lifetime of service as a psychologist. Did that experience on the Reparations Task Force give you a heightened sense of urgency around this healing piece? Like, what did you encounter during that work that impacted the way you view this piece of the repair?
That's a great question. I think there were two trajectories that were a wake-up call for me, even though I do this work as a major focal point of my commitment to community. So the first part was in all of the testimony that we heard, whether it was public comment, witnesses, special expert folks in different areas. They started pointing out the levels and types, depth of harm that happened to our people, not only in the past, but that still lives with us to this day. And so I think many of us on the task force knew that, and felt that we knew a lot already. We weren't prepared for what we didn't know. And so I think that was a clarion call to, we need to do something now. We need to address this issue with a sense of urgency. But the other thing that was, in some respects, even more painful than what I just described was the unhealed behavior that we witnessed in some of our own folk coming to and attending and calling in to the task force hearings. The level of hurt and pain was clear, but it was kind of masked by anger, by slights, by almost MAGA-type antics, like just lying about people and saying things over and over, with the idea that if you say it enough times, people are going to believe it. And so that was particularly, our own people calling out our own people who were volunteering their time to ensure that reparations was going to see the light of day in our lifetimes. It was painful to watch. It was painful to be on the receiving end of it. But even more than all of that, it was definitely a call to action about something that needs to be addressed now.
So, Dr. Grills, are you saying that some of the conflict and some of the difficulty around manifesting or taking reparations across the finish line is tied to the very things that we're trying to repair, the very harms and behaviors that come out of the legacy of enslavement and Jim Crow and the subsequent harms?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, what good is reparations? What good is a check if we are in a state of disharmony, lack of trust, inability to kind of see through the veil of the lie of white superiority and black inferiority, and to engage in behaviors that tear us down rather than build us up. There's the work that needed to be done became abundantly clear with each task force hearing.
Yeah.
And these are, I should say, these are behaviors that are conditioned within us as Black people, or have been conditioned over the course of 600 years. So it's not surprising that these behaviors would show up even as we try to fight for our rightful reparations in this struggle. These are behaviors that are just part of us, and what we are saying is that it is necessary for us to recognize them, begin to deal with them, begin to free ourselves of them in order to heal, in order to repair, but also in order to be able to enable ourselves to do the work that we need to do to make progress as a people.
Dr. Enola Aird is here of the Community Healing Network. Dr. Cheryl Grills, Loyola Marymount, but really a renowned psychologist throughout the country and the world. We will continue our conversation on what that healing looks like. The healing part of reparations is in the spotlight on this Freedman Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does. It's not just me, though. It's continuing with two very distinguished guests, Dr. Enola Aird, the Elder Griot, what a title, Community Healing Network, and Dr. Cheryl Grills of Loyola Marymount University, but also a world-renowned psychologist, member of the California Reparations Task Force. And this healing piece, I think I said it in the intro, is underrated. And I just want to say that I'm pretty sure that just from previous conversations that you're not saying, oh, we don't want to check, but it's just that there's so much more to it than that, right? And so I guess the question is, I'll start with you, Dr. Grills, but I'm pretty sure Dr. Enola Aird will have some important things to say about this as well. What piece of this can we do ourselves? You know what I mean? Like the check and the policies and stuff, we have to lobby governments and institutions and corporations and pressure them. What part of the healing piece can we do ourselves?
Yeah, there's an awful lot we can do, starting with just becoming more mindful. And I'm not talking about that new age mindfulness stuff that's out there in the world. I'm talking about actually becoming conscious, critically conscious about what's going on around you, what's going on inside of you, what's going on in your relationships with other people. Start questioning, like, why do I second guess this particular doctor because that doctor is Black like me? Why am I have so little patience with members of my own community, but I give an extra level of grace to people from other races or cultures? What is it that's lurking in the back of my own mind about my worth, my value, my lovability, my beauty as a Black person, right? And then where and how do I short circuit myself because I feel inadequate, or I don't want to prove the stereotype right that Black people are not as intelligent or as principled or disciplined as other people. There's a lot going on in our world that it's as though we took, I think it's the blue pill, and we went into the matrix. And it's time to say, you know what? I think I'm ready to come out. I'm ready to face what's there, and I'm ready to chart a pathway forward, not by myself, but in community. And that's the last thing I'll say about this piece, is that we need to look really carefully at the quality and the integrity of sense of community we have with each other in general, at the global village level, at the neighborhood level, and within our own families. The secret sauce to how we've been able to survive 600 years of just the most heinous, cruel, vicious, inhumane treatment is that we had each other, and we knew how to be there for one another, and we knew how to give each other grace when we fell short of, how we should be showing up with one another. And so we've got to make sure that we do a kind of blood pressure check, if you will, daily on how's community in my life, in my world, and how am I contributing to it in a positive way.
Yeah, it's well said. Dr. Enola Aird, I'm asking you the same question, Elder Griot, of Community Healing Network. Like, man, woman, heal thyself. How do we do it?
Yes, and that's exactly right. We have to heal ourselves. It's been 600 years of the whole world developing a hierarchy of human value that says that whiteness and everything associated with it is at the pinnacle, and Blackness and everything associated with it is at the bottom, and sometimes not even in the human family at all. 600 years is a very long time.
Woo. Yes,
and when you think about the implications of all of that, isn't it time that we take the time to heal from that? And that is essentially what the Global Circle for Reparations and Healing is saying. In this quest for reparations, that we have to center healing. Because ultimately, as Dr. Grills indicated, I agree with her that there's a lot we can, that healing really is dependent on us. It's entirely dependent on us. Healing is something that we can do without anyone else outside of our community helping us. And it is something that I think our children need to see us do. They know that things are not the way they should be. And we as adults have a responsibility to show them. As elders, we have the responsibility to show them it's not right, and we're going to fix it. Which is why the Global Circle for Reparations and Healing last year brought together healers from across the world, including Dr. Grills, to a conference, to a summit called Centering Healing Across Global Africa. The purpose of that was to build a sustainable infrastructure for healing from that 600 years of unbroken trauma, unbroken oppression. My theory is that this lie of white superiority and black inferiority gets injected into the world system and just paves the way for enslavement, paves the way for colonialization, paves the way for neocolonialization, and the continued oppression and degradation of African people. And it's not going to stop, because the papal bulls that gave the Portuguese the authority to launch this transatlantic trafficking of African people, the enslavement of African people, basically said, you have the right to go out and conquer these people and enslave them in perpetuity. The instrument for that perpetuity was this lie. We have the right to do it because they're less than human. And even though enslavement ends, even though colonialism ends, the lie doesn't end. The lie continues to live. And so unless we kill it, and Dr. Grills has been wonderful in her intellectual work that has helped to undergird the movement for us to free ourselves from this lie of white superiority and black inferiority. Unless we do that, it's just going to continue. It's just meant to live on its own. And it is, in fact, the root cause for the dehumanization of black people wherever we are. So, Centering Healing Across Global Africa happened last year. There's a new film that just came out on Africa Day called Centering Healing Across Global Africa, the documentary.
Yes, we're going to get into that after News, Traffic, and Sport. We only have a minute right here, so I wanted to make sure we had plenty of room for that to breathe. But we are going to talk about that for sure, because I think that I would imagine this really helps center what you're talking about here, about what we got to do here. It's a new documentary it's called, it's their Centering Healing documentary. And so we'll hear about that after News, Traffic, and Sports. I was going to ask you in these 30 seconds right here quickly to respond to what Carl is asking in the YouTube chat. Are you saying that we're all sick, that we are still sick as a people?
Oh, that's a classic question.
Dr. Grills, let me turn to you, Dr. Grills.
So it's not a matter, are we all sick? I mean, I know we've had enough people telling us what's wrong with us. But the reality is, if you keep subjecting someone to a harmful environment, a harmful set of dynamics and tactics, it's going to wear on you. It's going to seep into your psyche and your soul and your spirit. And what we have to do is to figure out how deeply has this penetrated who we are, how has it impacted how we treat each other, and how we make course corrections so that we be the best of who we are, not some weak semblance of somebody else's stereotypes of who we are. So we all have work to do, and I think if we do the work, we'll also uncover exactly how the injury of anti-blackness for 600 years has seeped into our world.
Dr. Cheryl Grills and Dr. Enola Aird are on with me now on a Friedman Friday. We'll hear all about their film when we come forward, only right here.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. 2 Indianapolis police officers are recovering after being shot during a gunfight with an armed suspect. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Chief Tanya Terry.
Our officers showed up to protect someone in need, and they were met with violence.
Police say the officers returned fire, killing the suspect, and officials credit their actions with helping protect lives at the scene. Mississippi health officials have confirmed 7 cases of cyclosporiasis across 4 health districts. State officials say the illnesses are not currently linked to the larger multi-state outbreak and are reminding residents to thoroughly wash fresh fruits and vegetables and seek medical care if symptoms persist. And the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange has named Johanna Fabian Marks as its new executive director. Black Governor Wes Moore says Fabian Marks brings valuable experience to the role after serving in several leadership positions with the agency since 2019. Get BIN News now, on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Keep the excitement going at Citadel Outlets. Experience the world's largest soccer ball, a 20-foot spectacle, plus free weekend entertainment and family fun. Now through July 31st. Don't miss it. Plan your visit at citadeloutlets.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams, heavy favorites as a Super Bowl contender this season, open training camp Saturday at Enola Marymount. The addition of defensive end Myles Garrett, a two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and Pro Bowl cornerback Trent McDuffie has given the Rams an elite defense to go with their highly productive offense. The Rams are expected to be better than the team that finished one game away from last year's Super Bowl. On paper, the Rams are legit. The Chargers open training camp on Wednesday in El Segundo. In a salute to their original fan base in San Diego, the Chargers have scheduled training camp practices August 4th and 5th on the University of San Diego campus. USD is where Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh started his head coaching career in 2004. The Dodgers are back in action tonight. They start a 3-game series in New York against the Mets. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We don't do ordinary. This is KBLA Talk 1580. In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and we're glad that you're here on a Freedman Friday. We are with Dr. Cheryl Grills. You know her from her work as a psychologist, as a professor and a researcher at Loyola Marymount University for many years. Dr. Enola Aird, one of the founders and the elder Griot of the Community Healing Network, and they are on a global healing mission that is very deeply connected to reparations. I got someone in the chat saying just cut the check. Okay, we talk about that almost every week, and I'm quite sure that Dr. Grills and Dr. Aird would be super happy to see checks getting cut, but I think the dimension of our own healing is very, 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 very important, spiritually, mental health-wise, physically, and everything else. So talk to me about this film. That Centering Healing is more than a movement. It is also now a documentary.
It is a documentary, Centering Healing Across Global Africa. The documentary is essentially an invitation to this movement that we're building, this journey toward complete healing from this 600 years of trauma caused by global anti-Blackness. We hope we've established that there's been injury. That's what the premise of reparations is, that there's been a crime, that there's been injury, and there needs to be repair. And a big part of that repair has got to be healing the emotional, psychological, physical legacies of this horror that we've been through. The documentary was released on Africa Day, May 25th.
Oh, nice.
It chronicles the proceedings of the Centering Healing Summit that took place in Accra in March of 2025. Dr. Grills was there. For health reasons, I was not. But the film also chronicles the beginning of the long overdue movement for healing for Black people worldwide. You know, we've been through a lot. We've survived a lot. We've been incredibly resilient. There are lots of attempts and lots of initiatives focused on healing throughout the diaspora, including in the United States. And I know Dr. Grills has been a leader in that. But there's never been a worldwide coming together of African people to build a global movement for healing until now. And Centering Healing, the documentary, tells the story of that coming together. And that's what it's about. It's a film that really explores profound themes of trauma, healing, and unity among Black people. We get to talk about the origins of global anti-Blackness, the role of the Catholic Church, the leading role of the Catholic Church in that, the historical complexity, the degree to which Africans may or may not or perceived to be involved in the enslavement of other Africans, and what was their understanding of enslavement at the time. What was the multi-generational trauma? How did it affect us? How does it continue to affect us psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually today? And what are most importantly, what are the pathways to healing? What are the ways that we can get ourselves out of this situation? It's a really powerful film, and it captures a very, very powerful moment in our history, in our journey toward recovering our sense of ourselves as a people.
Do you think, I mean, you started off, Dr. describing this documentary and saying all the things we have to do to reverse 600 years of trauma. I mean, I think the 600 days of trauma is pretty hard to reverse. 600 years, is it even possible to reverse that?
Well, it's so amazing when you think about that. It helps us understand just how incredible we are, how incredible our ancestors were, that they were able to bring us through that. I don't have any doubt about our ability to do that. It's going to take less than 600 years because we now know and we now understand where we are. It's going to take a lot less than 600 years. And I don't have any doubt. I hope Dr. Grill shares my hope and expectation that we now have a sense of what has happened to us, how it has affected us, and what we need to do to heal ourselves for our children's sake, but also for our ancestors' sake.
Dr. Grills, Everett Stevenson, Everett Stevenson is in the chat saying, "Amen again. Slavery has made white people victims too. They were slaves to slavery. The Bible explains, and that history is painful in their Christian world." What is the healing piece for, the white people who are the descendants of enslavers, and even those who are not?
Yeah, that point is well taken. That I think that point is accurate. that the whole propaganda around the lie of white superiority and black inferiority had a negative impact, not just on black people and white people, on all people.
Yep.
And it has left us with misinformation and stereotypes that we act upon. And so what I think we have to do is kind of put all of this in a broader context, and that broader context of harm involves things like, we were all kind of victims of this big propaganda campaign, and the purpose was to make one set of people forget that certain other sets of people are human. And in the propaganda, today's dictators actually rely for the most part on repetition, suppression, and rationalization. The repetition of catchwords, that people want to be accepted as true, and the suppression of facts that they want people to ignore, and the arousal and rationalization of people's kind of sometimes selfish passions. That's the context within which we have all been infected by the lie. And the work that needs to happen is, relevant to all racial and cultural groups. But I'm a black psychologist from a lineage of folks who were harmed and who can trace her roots back to Africa. And, my first priority is the family. And so I call on white people, go do your work. And I challenge the American Psychological Association to prioritize helping white folk deal with their delusions of, quite frankly, grandeur and specialness, et cetera.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a tall order too. But I'm hearing more and more that's also their work to do, to a large extent. And, we can acknowledge that happened, but that's their work to do. Dr. Aird, I love that you call it the lie of white supremacy and black inferiority. I know that some people are uncomfortable even with the term white supremacy because it's almost like we're acknowledging that they are somehow superior. How do you, and even what Dr. Grills was talking about the way the toxic ways that some of the interactions with the task force, the California Reparations Task Force went down. How do you get rid of that internalized, the white man's ice is colder, kind of self-hate piece?
Well, the work that we do with Community Healing Network and have done in association with the Association of Black Psychologists, begun under Dr. Grill's leadership, was to create a self-help support group process called the Emotional Emancipation Circle, to really understand the history, understand how we came to believe this lie. And we don't, we purposely call it a lie because we want to be brave and bold in asserting that it is not true. It was a creation. It was intended to be used to justify the subjugation of a whole group of people by another group of people. And it is not true. It is not to be believed, and we want our children to know that. But the Emotional Emancipation Circle process basically takes people through a pilgrimage to understand how we came to believe these stereotypes about ourselves, how powerful they are, and what we need to do to free ourselves. There's this 7-step process that Dr. Grills can talk about as well. But it is intended to, one, acknowledge what we have been through. You can't deal with what you won't acknowledge. Take us out of our denial and recognize that we have work to do, not only for ourselves, but for our children and our ancestors. This film, which can be seen on our website, gcrh.com, is intended to really raise public awareness about the history, how we got here. When you look around and say, why is it as Tom Burrell, the renowned advertising expert said, we African people, Black people, are at the top of every bad list and at the bottom of every good list. This film helps explain that, and it helps us to understand how we got there in all of its complexity and how we get out.
We can see this at gcrh.com. GCRH. .org. Ah, okay, I wrote down .com. .org. And, are you doing discussions? Do we need to organize discussions? I feel like everything.
We are. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I feel like everything you've touched on needs more unpacking.
Absolutely. Black August. We are about to enter Black August, and you'll be hearing more if you go to GCRH about our webinar series, which begins in August, and our watch parties, which will also be launched in August.
Oh, yeah, I want to go to one of those for sure. It just seems like it would be such fertile ground for us to start facing some of this stuff. But I hear what you're saying, Dr. Aird, and I absolutely agree. This is a lie. It's something, it's not just a lie. It's something evil that's been perpetuated not only on the United States, but on the entire globe. But knowing that intellectually is one thing, Dr. Grills. How do we get that out of our DNA, out of our cells and our spirits?
Yeah, I think one of the things we have to do is to maybe step back. People tend to shy away from anything that suggests that all is not well with their mental health, their emotional health, their behavioral health. and that's not, and we are not short on that perspective in the Black community. That being said, we end up short-circuiting our understanding of what's ailing us and then how to heal and how to know when that healing has occurred. So one of the things I like to try to do is, if you can bear with me really quickly, understand this issue from the point of view of medicine, physical health, right? And understanding an injury area. The first thing you have to do is you have to be cognizant of the indication of injury. And that might be you feel some pain somewhere in your body. Then you have to really hone in on the location and type of injury. For example, shoulder and side pain that's sharp and stabbing, constant. Then the third thing you have to do is then try to understand the source or the cause of the injury. Did you sprain a muscle? Was it repetitive overuse of your rotator cuff? Is it bursitis? Your sleeping position. Then you go to the remedy. And the remedy is highly varied depending on the answers to all the things I just mentioned. So imagine that you have an actual injury and all you want is some money, but you're going to now still be living with the pain and the consequences. And if you think about reparations in the context of injuries, like a physical injury, the analogy can help us kind of grasp what's going on. So there are two phases, and I'll stop with this. There are two phases in the management of musculoskeletal injury, right? You hurt some bones, you hurt some muscles somewhere. The first thing you have to do is restoration of anatomy. You got to fix the anatomy that's broken. That's healing. Then the second stage is you got to restore the physiology. That's the function, right? And we shortchange ourselves in both when it comes to our framing of repair for enslavement and its legacies today. And then let me extend this analogy in a slightly different direction for people to consider. You've been in a car accident, and if you can imagine, the front fender is all bent up, the axle, everything is all jacked up. You go ahead and you get some money to repair the car, but you don't repair the car. You just get right back in the defective car, right? That is not repair. That is not promoting guarantees of non-repetition. You drive around in that broke down car, you're going to probably have another accident. And so at the end of the day, you got some money, but what have you accomplished? And how does that extend some kind of legacy that will help our children and future generations into perpetuity?
So well said. Did you want to pile on a little bit, Dr. Aird? to what she
No, I would. I think has been very well said, and I would ask Dr. Grills to talk a little bit more about the emotional emancipation circle process in this context.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the emotional emancipation circles were intended to be something that allows us to, as a people, do some of the reflective work to understand who we are through our eyes, not someone else's, what has happened to us from our story of the history, not someone else's, and to chart a pathway forward for healing and being who we want and can be, not someone else's, stereotypes of all of that. And so in that regard, we came up with a process that allows people to call out the lies, both in general and then how they kind of manifest themselves in your own personal life, and then to look at, what are some steps to get beyond that, both as a personal, individual experience and as a collective experience. And so we have these 7 keys to emotional emancipation, and these keys are meant to unlock action that helps us understand that we were exploited, marginalized, tried to be made powerless, constantly under assault from systemic violence, and even the victims of cultural imperialism. And it's done in community because, again, the secret sauce to our viability and our resilience as a people is our connection to each other.
Mm. Wow.
So we're recovering what was taken from us. And it's work that only we can do. No one's going to come and say, gee, we really messed up and we need to fix you guys.
Okay, we'll continue this conversation with Dr. Enola Aird and Dr. Cheryl Grills when we come forward, only right here.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
The Sickle Cell Community Consortium Warrior Convention, sponsored in part by Agios and Pfizer, is July 22nd through 26th. Sickle cell education, entertainment, and family fun. Free hotel scholarships are available. Register now at sicklecellconvention.org.
Listen up, KBLA delegation. We have something you need to hear. Right now, you may qualify for low-cost home internet. And we're not talking about a catch. This is real. Many internet service providers offer low-cost internet plans if anyone in your household is enrolled in CalFresh, Medi-Cal, SSI, or is income eligible. There are a lot of families in our community who deserve to be connected. Here's all you do. Call 844-461-7893. That's the Get Connected call center. Real people ready to help you enroll today. Or go online to internetforallnow.org to find a provider near you. You may also qualify for a low-cost computer through Human IT. Connectivity is not a luxury. In 2026, it's a necessity. And you deserve access just like everybody else. Call 844-461-7893. That's 844-461-7893. KBLA's got you. If you missed any of this, you can always go to our website at kbla1580.com. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 in partnership with the California Emerging Technology Fund, CETF.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed, you are. Time flies when you're on the radio. It's a Friedman Friday, and two distinguished scholars have joined us this hour, Dr. Enola Aird and Dr. Cheryl Grills. We've got about 4 minutes right here, and I feel like I want to pass the mic to each of you and let you, do with those minutes as you will. It's such an important conversation, and I can't wait to see the film. I can't wait for all of us to see it. Centering Healing Across Global Africa is what it is called, and we can see it on the website at gcrh.org or at one of these watch parties that you have coming up for Black August. Dr. Aird, you want to go first?
Yeah, I just want to say that this film is part of a infrastructure that we're building. This is not a one-off. We intend to build a sustainable infrastructure for global healing that meets the needs of Black people wherever we are. We are doing this work to deepen the public conversation about what needs to happen to make us whole as a people again. We are fostering the development of an international community of healers, establishing a global clearinghouse of African-centered healing resources, and creating basic toolkits for popular education. This is not a one-off. You can expect to hear from us again and again and again as we work to restore our people, ourselves to wholeness again.
Might take another 600 years. Who knows? Dr. Grills?
No, not 600. I'll end with quoting Dr. Amos Wilson, a departed and beloved genius member of the Association of Black Psychologists. He said, if we don't know who we are, then we are whoever somebody says we are. And that's building off of the work of Frantz Fanon and W.E.B. Du Bois, who really challenged us to examine our sense of identity and place and consciousness. And there's three basic questions you need to ask yourself. Who am I? Which is a question of identity, nature, and essence. 2, am I really who I am? That's a question of, or an issue of congruence. And then 3rd, am I all I ought to be? And that's actualizing potential. If we can begin to unpack some of those questions, I think we'll begin to see where the harm has kind of manifested itself and what kind of collective healing work we need to do. And like in the emotional emancipation circles, we do that work in a variety of ways, including really inviting people to examine their socio-historical awareness of themselves, their psychological awareness, their ancestral awareness, their spiritual awareness, and their destiny, purpose awareness of themselves.
And just a quick note, global Africa also means here. It also means the United States. When you say global Africa, you're talking about Black people in the diaspora, just for if you're new here.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And more importantly, thank you for the work that you're doing. Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. And Dr. Enola Aird and Dr. Cheryl Grills, it sounds like you are doing just that.
Thank you,
Dominique.
Thank you both so very much. Look forward to talking again. Right now, though, we are going to focus on the terrible story of Nolan Wells. Attorney Tiffany Townend Blacknell has been doing incredible commentary on it. We'll get her analysis when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. 2 Indianapolis police officers are recovering after being shot during a gunfight with an armed suspect. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Chief Tanya Terry.
Our officers showed up to protect someone in need, and they were met with violence.
Police say the officers returned fire, killing the suspect, and officials credit their actions with helping protect lives at the scene. Mississippi health officials have confirmed 7 cases of cyclosporiasis across 4 health districts. State officials say the illnesses are not currently linked to the larger multi-state outbreak and are reminding residents to thoroughly wash fresh fruits and vegetables and seek medical care if